Good morning and welcome to video 15 of Strudel Music from Code. Today we're going to look at arranging. Now we first encountered this in video 9 and explained that the arrange data structure allows you to break away from this methodology where all the bits of music you write are played all at the same time. Using the arrange, you can play that bit, then that bit, then that bit, then that bit. And you can stipulate how many times you want the bit of music to be played. So that will play 3 times, that will play twice. You can also, as I hope you'll notice, mix up the different ways you choose to write music. So here we have the convention I've been using, C3, D sharp 3, G3. Individual notes, the C, D sharp and G played at the 3rd octave up from the left hand side. Here you got it being played as a chord. So these are individual notes, no commas. This is the chord. This is the MIDI sequence. So this is 48th key from the left hand side, 51st and 55th key from the left hand side. Or you can do it in this MIDI interval methodology where you stipulate the intervals between the notes and how many notes you want to add to it, so taking it up the keyboard. So if you add nothing, this will play sort of the very first, the 3rd and the 7th key. If you add 12, it'll add 12 to these and play it further up the keyboard. So by altering this number, you can alter the position on the keyboard. Here is that MIDI key notation, again recording the intervals, but playing it at different positions of the keyboard. So 12 keys up, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72. You can hear how the same chord is reproduced at various places up the keyboard. In this MIDI notation, this is the interval and this is the offset. So the interval between the note and the offset is how far up the keyboard it is played. Other things to note are that this is just a human keyword, just a human name. Okay, human readable name. So it's called list here, but we can call it play, or you can call it piano, as long as you reproduce it here. This is exactly what we've been using the past few weeks. Instead of stipulating the note here, you stipulate the data structure. So you can, instead of putting the notes in here, we put in this data structure, and this data structure, this arranged data structure, allows things to be played consecutively, one after each other, rather than simultaneously, all at the same time. Just to show you that it's not all roses when doing this, and it does take some thought. Here we have a tune, which I hope you'll recognize. And getting the timing right is not always easy. Strudel is based on tidal cycles, and that works on cycles, and it tries to keep everything in tune. But here I'm trying to replace two notes. I'm trying to play two notes a couple of times, and it doesn't fit in with the three notes that I'm using elsewhere in it. So it stumbles a bit over here. It tries to fit the timing for two notes here into three notes here, and you lose the whole rhythm of the thing. So sometimes you've got to think about it, and perhaps it doesn't always work. Now here we have a drum pattern, similar to what we've been using the past few weeks. Okay, and it goes straight into sound. Okay, S is just short for sound, and that should work just the same. There you go. When you're using the arrange here, you're using you're specifying the note and take the note from the list and then play it through an electric guitar. But on here, you haven't got notes. Okay, you've got a nomenclature for the actual skin that you're bashing, or the bit of metal that you're hashing. So you've got bass drum, hi-hat, open hat. You're not playing a note as such. You're going straight into the sound and match this sound from the bank of the TR909. TR909. Okay, so it's slightly different to if you want to play drums in an arrange data structure, an arrange setup, you're going to have to do a bit of jiggery pokery, and that's what we're going to look at now. So first you've got to pick your drum machine. So open up the right hand menu, and you've got samples, drum machine, synths, wavetables, or what have you. And you can just sort of pick one that you sound, or look for one that you know exists. So for a reason I'm regretting now, I picked the linndrum. The thing about the linndrum is to remember that you spell it with two N's. And when you type in linndrum, it gives you all the components of linndrum that it holds. So we have a bass drum, linndrum, bass drum, hi-hat, and then other things which are perhaps a bit, which don't exist in all of them. So here we have the famous, which I can't see for some reason. We have that noise, which is very linndrummy. Linndrum rim, which is quite nice. And I thought, yeah, we have a cowbell. And the other rule of drumming is that you can't have too much cowbell. Okay. So instead of notes, we have the shorthand for the skin or bit of metal that we're actually hitting. So we've got snare drum, bass drum, snare drum, bass drum, hi-hat, 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 bass drum, rim, bass drum, snare drum. And we put that straight into a sound. So there's no note. Okay. And we're calling it drumlist. Take it from the bank of linndrum. So we take it from the bank. I have to explain this before I do it again. Rather than the individual sound. I've put some decay in it, so we want it distort. Low pass filter, because once I started playing with linndrum, I really didn't like it. It sounds too 17, it's too pew, pew, pew. But anyway. So, because we can play one after each other, we can have an intro. So we have a count here, and then 3 repeating rhythms here, and then this bit. And remember what I said about it tries to keep time, so this will play quicker, because here you've got 1, 2, 3, you've got 4 sounds. Here you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sounds. Okay, and it'll put these 8 sounds in the same time it took to play these 4 sounds, so this will play quicker. Got a snare drum and then some blank spaces so that it doesn't stretch out the snare drum into the space for 4 beats. So it'll just do 1 beat of snare drum and then pause. Okay, you get the idea. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to sound anything other than like a 1970s linndrum. But you get the idea. These can be as long as you like. I've kept it to 4 beats, and you can go on as long as you like. I do long ones, but disappear off the side screen and make it more complicated. I'm sure you can do better. But you can change the amount of times that these rhythms are played. Now, that's it. That's great. That's fantastic. And you can have a lot of fun with that. But you can also play more than one of these arrangements at the same time. So here we've got the drum kit. So why don't we add the bass drum? So this is our electric bass, not bass drum, which I just said. This is our electric bass. Same number of lines as the drums, 4 lines, and follows the same sort of pattern. But it rests while the drum is counting in. It just rests. Then it plays 3 lines like the drums do, and then it matches those 8 notes, and then we have that end bit here. This is written in MIDI notation just because I decided to write it in MIDI notation, and you can change where it appears up the keyboard. Well, it's not the keyboard, it's the neck of the bass. Added some bits and pieces to it. It sounds like this. It obviously pauses for the first line when the drum is just counting in. Okay, so what does it sound like? Doesn't sound too good. Don't like the linndrum, but it demonstrates the point that you can start arranging whole songs or whole pieces of music rather than just making a sound and repeating the sound. So there you go. It doesn't like, there you go. There, it's come back now. And perhaps the beauty of MIDI notation using the interval and the offset, if you want the bass even lower, you can just change the numbers. Rather than having to work out in your head, oh no, C3, so perhaps C2, and so on and so forth. More on this next week and developing different ways that this can help your composition. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it informative. I will put this code here in the description. Bit of a teaser for the next video. The computer guys amongst you will be screaming about repeating values here and how to deal with that and make it a bit more user friendly. Don't forget that the YouTube description does not like these chevrons, so I'll put X's where these chevrons are. Trouble is, there's a lot of them, so you're going to have to perhaps paste it into Word to do a find and replace. That won't work because there's the left and the right. But anyway, replace these chevrons. I'll replace these chevrons with X's. If you go and copy and paste the code, then you will have to change them back. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you found that informative. Play around with it, and I will see you next week.